Whoops, look at this little hair. Look at this motherfucker. You know what this is from? This asshole? Right here. This is from when they cut my head, when they cut my head open for surgery. So there's like a line of these hairs that go from like here all the way down here, and they're just this long because they had to like cut the hair. Yeah, they're so irritating. But I have to just keep letting them grow until they get long enough for, to like actually make it back to mine. Did I have a coronal incision? If this is coronal incision, that's what I had, yeah. But the coronal incision fucked me up a little bit because I was already a little self-conscious about my hairline. Like I was a little self-conscious about my hairline, a little bit. But I didn't realize when they do the coronal incision and then they pull your hair, they kind of like snap it back a little bit. So your hairline actually gets raised. And I didn't realize this going in, but now my hairline is higher than before. So that bothers me. I wish I knew that going in. Of course, the other issue is if you don't get the coronal incision and instead you get the forehead incision, you have a scar here. So you have kind of two options, right? A slightly higher hairline or a scar along here. And I don't know which one I would have preferred, to be honest. So it's really hard to say. It's really, really hard to say which one I would have preferred because the scar is like terrifying as well. I'm sure if I got the other way around, I would have been like, fuck, I wish I didn't have this scar. What's a coronal incision? Coronal incision is like when I had my FFS. So there's two places they can, when you have FFS, they hit your forehead, right? They hit your forehead, basically. And there's two places they can do that incision because they have to obviously, you know, pull your face down a little bit to get into the skin here, right? So they can do that incision in two different places, essentially. So the first one, and I think the more common way to do the incision, is to do the incision like here, basically, like cut along here. And the reason that they do this incision is once they finish the surgery, they actually, when they put your head back together, they can reshape your hairline along that incision. You know? They can actually move your hairline a little bit with that incision. They can put it in a different location, round it out if they want to. So that's one of the big advantages to doing it that way. However, the major disadvantage of doing that kind of incision is that the incision is in front of your hairline, which means, of course, that when you get your scar is along here, which means it's visible. You can see it, right? The alternative method is the coronal incision, and that incision goes basically, I wonder if I can even show you the locations. It's hard to see with the camera. Actually, I think you can see it. You can see like right here, okay? This is where this is scar right here. Right here, this is a scar. So this goes basically, from here down behind my ear. So the scar goes like up here, across here, all the way to the other side, and then down here on the other side behind my ear as well. And they do this incision because this is hidden in your hairline. So, I mean, unless I show you this scar myself, you're never going to know that this scar exists. Unless I deliberately, like, try to show you it. No one knows. No one can see that this scar exists, basically. No one. And then they pull, instead of pulling just here down, they pull from here down, essentially. And then they put your head back. But what happens is, and this obviously, we can understand that this makes sense, right? But what happens here is when they actually shave this part of your head, which is what they do for the forehead surgery, they shave the bone down up here and they flatten it here and they shave a little bit here. They take some size off of it. If you were to like, so let's think like this, okay? So like this is the bone here and this is the skin over the top of it, okay? If I pull this down and I flatten this a little bit, and then I pull this up and I tighten it in the exact same place, I'm gonna have this like empty space, literally. I'm gonna have like empty space here because there's literally going to be like more skin than there needs to be, right? It's gonna be loose. So what they have to do is they have to remove a section of your skin. Literally, they have to like, you know, like if this is the part of the skin and they're trying to reattach it, you know, like here to here, basically. What they have to do is they have to like take a strip like this, you know, like take a strip out essentially like that, like, you know, take a little strip and then reattach it to make up for the fact that there's the lack of space or there's excess space now. And they take this little strip of like your head out and they throw it away, right? But by taking that little strip of your head off of your head, basically, this area, your hairline, raises to accommodate that section that they took. So your hairline might be here, and then it goes up like that, right? Because they removed a section of your head, so your hairline naturally rises a little bit. So, I did not know that going in, basically. I didn't know that going in. I kind of wish I knew that going in, because I wasn't anticipating it. Do they not let you keep it? Unfortunately, no, they do not let you keep it. But, yeah, it goes from 4-head to a 5-head. Not exact. I mean, it's not really that much of a difference, to be honest. It doesn't raise it like that much. I just wish I knew that going in, because then I might have been more aggressive about... I wanted to get a hair transplant, but I ended up not getting the hair transplant because I didn't think I needed it. But if I had known about the raised hairline, I might have been more insistent on getting the hair transplant, basically. So I kind of wish I knew that going in. Either way, it's not that big a deal.